All right, I'll start. I got a serious problem with Caitlin Clark.
You got a problem with her.
You know, I will say this. At the end of the day, she capitalized on her college career. She was the number one draft choice, leveraged that into a small fortune, and more power to her. It's just like with AOC. I don't agree with her politics, but I applaud her for the way she got elected. She mastered social media, used it to her advantage, and she's in the House of Representatives. Good for her.
So I want to go back to something that you said. Her college career. What exactly did she accomplish in her college career?
If you're going to go the championship route, I mean, factually, you're correct, but I believe they made it to the finals out of Iowa, which I'm not even sure had a team 5 years ago. So read into that what you want.
Let's compare it to the same conference, so apples to apples in the Big Ten. But let's flip the equation and let's talk about another human being that I can't stomach, and Zach Edey, right? Zach Edey for Purdue specifically made it to the championship game this past year, the same year that Caitlin Clark did. Zach Edey, however, was a male back-to-back National Player of the Year. Zach Edey not only is not getting the lucrative deals in college and into his pro career or pending pro career. We have yet to see what's going to end up happening with him. And arguably, his performance is probably in line with that I would see Caitlin Clark performing at, right? Probably on a team that's not a contender and is putting up lackluster numbers at the end of the day. It seems to me that there's powers to be that are trying to prop up the WNBA. And Caitlin Clark was like right place, right time.
The NBA, how long has the NBA been around?
A lot longer.
A lot longer time to build their product, build their brand. And as a result, they are where they are. The WNBA is, as you like to say, I think it's crawl, walk, run. They might be walking right now. They're beyond the crawl stage, but they're not running. The NBA is running.
They're running from Russia.
That's I think the underpinning factor here is the talent, right? How can you have a two-time National Player of the Year player coming in and being ineffective in her role? I don't understand it.
I think you're comparing apples to oranges, but I mean you're comparing a men's sport to a women's sport. Not talking down on women. Bodies are just built differently. It's apples to oranges when you start talking about talent level, NBA versus WNBA, et cetera.
I think it's that, and I think it's the maturity of the brand. The WNBA needs to do anything they can to promote the brand and get more eyeballs.
And to clarify what I said, like, look, men and women, they're built differently. There are things women can do physically that men can't do, and vice versa. So that's why I say it's apples to oranges. I mean, if any one of us had to give birth to a child, I'm sure we'd scream like a little girl compared to our wives.
Right.
I mean, it's just their bodies are designed differently.
If you go back to where the NBA was in their journey at the time the WNBA is right now, they didn't have all those people. And in fact, if I am to believe the pundits, it was the Larry Birds and Magic Johnsons of the world that put the NBA on the map. Well, they had been around for 20 or 30 years before those guys put them on the map. WNBA hadn't been around that long.
I go to Aviators games, Aces games, Las Vegas Aces games here in Vegas. Aha Wilson, I would argue, is 10 times the player that Caitlin Clark is, mostly because she's a 6'6" or 6'5" female who just she's like Shaquille O'Neal out there, right? Like she dominates at the end of the day. Caitlin Clark is I don't know. I guess this might be an unpopular opinion. She comes to me. She comes off to me as more of like a side act in sports.